Hello, hello. We are live together with Alexandru Ambrozie, with Alex.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Today we started improving the format, to say the least. I asked Alex to join us to discuss for uh, a little bit about the topic of yesterday's finding from the DFSA. We have noticed that the media was, as expected, quite in shock. So there were a couple of, um, let's say, journalists that were interested in the DFSA uh, announcement. What I can jump directly into the topic, what I can say is that everybody was trying to find a way to mellow the situation or to call it a little bit less than it was. So I would say that we should at least um, dissect the matter into a much, let's say, a simple pillow to swell, because I believe that such a situation with an analyst at this level, so the number one analyst in Denmark, representing a bank at the caliber of Carnegie, cannot receive a reprimand on such a, I don't know how to say it. We call it in Romania găinărie, but I think that there is a little bit of there is a way to say it also in English. Is a shitstorm in the end. What happened, and the way he has done it is simply mind blowing. So I invited today Alex to be able to dissect this and to answer to the questions that we receive. I'm just checking right now if we are live. Yes, the image is live. Hello to everybody. I hope that you all can hear us and see us well. And Alex, I would start asking you, what do you think about the DFSA decision, and is this a mild case or is it something really spectacular for us?
Well, first, I don't think media is really surprised. They cannot be surprised. The facts were clear, in plain air. I think when we met last time, I said at that time that this is a crystal clear case of market manipulation. Yes, with two arms. One not disclosing his personal interest, the case that was sanctioned now by the FSA, and the second one probably will come later, the pump and dump. The two cases are directly connected. We are waiting to see the result of the investigation for the second part of the, let's say, of the conduct. Why they are surprised, I don't know. Everything was clear. What is regarding that there is no fine or no million fine payment at this level, when the FSA is saying that the managing director of one of the largest financial institutions, who are supposed to know best the market, the market regulations. So when the FSA is saying that the managing director is breaching the market abuse regulation, this is sufficient.
So what you're saying, Alex, is that at such a caliber, at such a level, like Lars Stockholm, who's the number one analyst in Denmark and in the Nordics in the last 9 years, this is not an excuse. That is a mistake, or there's something mild.
For investors, for you, your investors, and for all investors in Denmark, I think this is a matter of trust or losing trust, and not about the fine. A fine goes to the state. The guy is losing some money. Okay. I think we don't really care about if he pays or not a certain fine to
No, I
Denmark.
believe correct. I believe that the fines are not relevant at this level, and we do not worry about that. And it's not at any point something that we should discuss right now. Who gets a fine or something in that. What do you think about the fact that the DFSA has qualified this as financial advice? What is your opinion, knowing very well the case, and how does Carnegie fall into this whole story?
And I think for FSA, I think for FSA mattered a lot that this advisor is in fact the managing director. He is not a rookie. He is not an unexperienced advisor who has drafts and internal notes that have to be approved by a supervisor. This is a big boss.
Correct. So basically, he's the one that doesn't have some sort of supervision on top of it.
Yes.
So this is what it makes it quite
Yes.
dramatic.
You cannot say, I am the managing director. I am sending you to big brokerage companies my thoughts, but they are draft.
Or back of the envelope, how he called
Back
it.
of the, what is this?
I don't know exactly why back of the on the envelope is something that it should be considered an element, but this is what he says, at least.
He didn't send it to his friends in high school or to his brothers or family. He sent it to professional traders, to professional investors.
Yeah, and Finanstilsynet says, and I quote, considers that the note constitutes an investment recommendation within the meaning of Article 3.135 of the Market Abuse Regulation. In this assessment, Finanstilsynet places weight on the fact that the note goes beyond merely referencing the issuer's targets, in that the targets are used as the basis for quantitative calculations and assessments of what the issuer ambitions may mean to theoretical price per share. The note uses languages and expression that presents the share as an investment idea and creates a positive contrast between the current price and the potential future price. On this basis, Finanstilsynet considered that the note is capable of influencing the recipient's attitude towards the financial instrument and must therefore be defined as an indirect recommendation. So this is the trigger for the pump. Would you say so?
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. Yes. And for this quote is clear that it matters the quality of this advisor.
So I'm going forward, and I'm going very precise on the article itself, because I think there is a lot of meaning to dissect out of this. And I will read forward for everybody to hear. Finanstilsynet notes that it is not decisive to the assessment that the note did not have a price effect, that the note did not analyze the issuer's ability to meet its financial expectations, how the complex underlying calculations were, or the format of the note, including the fact that it is described as an internal note. The relevant question is whether the communication is capable of influencing the reader's attitude towards the underlying financial instrument and of inducing the person to make a financial decision, and whether the communication is intended for distribution channels or for the public, which Finanstilsynet considers to be satisfied. So how do we explain this to the public so they can understand? Because it's a little bit of technicality here. How Finanstilsynet, so I repeat, they say how complex the underlying calculations were. So basically they see that this was a complex analysis, or the format, including that he said it's internal or back of the envelope, or how is it is capable of influencing the reader's attitude.
Well, I think what they are saying, what the Danish FSA is saying, that these are not necessarily decisive. You see, the Danish FSA notes that it is not decisive for the assessment that the note didn't have a price effect, or maybe whether it has or not. Because, and this is very simple, the authority of this analyst using the official email, the official channels, sending the note to professional traders, this is sufficient. Who is supposed to question this analyst? Do you know what you are saying there?
Okay, so you're saying that here we talk also about the form.
Yes,
And
I'm
on
saying about, yes, in this let's say press release or investigation, I think the Danish authority didn't or at least from this public release,
the PR, yes, let's say public
the authority didn't focus on the actual effects, whether in reality a certain number of investors are influenced or not, but on the capacity of this assessment to influence.
Okay.
Was it sufficient to influence? And the answer is yes, it is sufficient.
So it doesn't matter the channel or that it is an internal or this kind of documents. You cannot just play around with them in his capacity. So I think
It was
everybody
sent officially. It was sent officially to professional buyers by a managing director.
So to make a let's say a parallel here, I would use the following: let's say that you have I don't know, you are a general in an army and you start shooting on the street, and then you say this is just a test. No,
Yes.
it's basically the person that and the community and the entity that the person is representing is the one that gives it as a financial advice.
No, and the general would ask, "Did you really believe me?" Yes, of
Yeah.
course. You are the
Yes.
general.
Correct. So going forward, he says the Finanstilsynet decision says that at the time of the sharing the note, the person held shares in the same company which he recommended in the note. That's something that we know already, which Finanstilsynet considered to constitute a material conflict of interest. The conflict of interest was not to disclosed in a note or declared in any other way, which is contrary to the Article 20-1 of the Market Abuse Regulation, which requires that relevant conflicts of interest be disclosed when preparing and disseminating investment recommendations. Finanstilsynet therefore issued a reprimand to the person for failing to disclose material conflicts of interest in connection with preparation and dissemination of the investment recommendation. So there are a couple of reprimands here based on different articles of MAR, what I understand, correct? Or it's the same scenario?
It is the same. It is the same. It is the same scenario.
But the fact that he has shares, it even makes it worse, no? It makes it not negligence.
Well, what would be more interested to be investigated by the Danish authority is whether this analyst did this for his own benefit or to help a broader group of investors. Because if you look at this of his number of shares, I think he had a rather low number of shares, right?
3,500, so it's not relevant. Yeah.
Not a big value.
10,000 euros, 15,000 euros, something like that.
So he either made a mistake, okay? I don't know if this is possible to make such mistakes, or he did this in order to
Help somebody.
to help somebody, and more precisely to make possible the pump and dump that followed immediately after his internal note. I mean, his internal note was not without consequences. Immediately after, he said in this internal note that the price should be 2, 3, 4 times higher. And immediately afterward, the price, I think,
Went
increased.
two
Went
times.
2
Two
times.
times. Yeah, so he was right. He's a good
He
analyst.
was right.
Because I was saying today, because I wanted to explain, I put a small article just as a epilogue to this one, as a prologue, sorry, for this one. There are only three ways here, since it's a trifecta. Either he's incompetent, which is not the case, because that would mean that all his awards and all his investments were not good. Second, he's expired, he's getting old and he's not paying attention, or he's just not a good analyst anymore. He used to be, which is something okay he can use. Or the third, that he's corrupt, because the corruption is the only way that he could use this. And it doesn't really matter, in my opinion, and please contradict me if I'm wrong, the situation in which you fail at your job in the interest of somebody, or just because you want to be a good guy to somebody, it's the same thing. It's still an abuse, a corruption case in this situation, in my opinion.
It's even more dangerous.
Yeah.
To use such a high-profile fund. I mean, basically, he put in danger an entire institution.
And if you want to, could you extend this putting in danger a financial system? Because if this happened to Shape, I believe it happened to others. It's so obvious, so direct, so in your face. This is not negligence. This is, I think, a modus operandi.
Will probably have significant consequences on Carnegie, because he basically engaged the legal entity, the bank.
So we are not talking about him as an individual. We're talking about a failure of an institution, correct?
He sends this on behalf of an institution, using the tools of an institution without proper supervisory, without internal control. Normally,
so based on trust.
You cannot send such note without being endorsed by internal control.
In your career, that is quite significant in your expertise in this field. Have you ever seen situations like this one that happened without consequences? In the sense that, I don't know, just park it as a mild mistake or something like that.
I haven't seen managing directors sending drafts to professional traders.
This is a first.
Sending drafts. You are sending drafts to friends.
Yes.
You are sending draft to family.
And you don't sign them with Carnegie, correct?
Yes, and you are not signing with Carnegie, right?
So for everybody, I have clipped this many times, the image with the back of the envelope. So you should go and look at it again, and you see it's signed by His Majesty Lars Leroy Topholm. So at Carnegie.
Yes, and if you read it, it has several pages. It's not half a page. It's not one paragraph. It is a real, proper
document,
review document.
So no matter how he names it, the name is not important. What it contains is the important aspect. So now finalizing.
What is important is the authority that this paper has coming from this analyst.
Exactly, this is what it says in the end. The rules of investment recommend the format and the designation of an investment recommendation is immaterial. Exactly, this is what the FSA says now. So it doesn't matter how you say it. Analysts and the other relevant persons should be aware that detailed analysis and ideas distributed internally, particular to sales team, may constitute investment recommendation. If they are intended to be used in dialogue with clients and other investors, it is therefore always important to disclose relevant conflicts of interest. So, long story short, or very short, because this is a quite a summary statement, okay, from the Finanstilsynet. I would say that this is not a very comfortable situation with Carnegie at this moment. And from our perspective at Shape Robotics, Alex, in a week or so, hopefully you will be instated in fully of the board, and you'll have this capacity to engage the company into recuperating part of its losses. What would you say it's our go-to action plan in this situation? Because many people are asking us, it's a personal claim against Lars Topholm, or we are not, at least between us discussing at this moment, Lars Topholm doesn't exist outside Carnegie. He's not.
No, this is not an individual matter. Maybe the bank against Lars, okay.
It's their problem.
That could be a personal matter. Shape Robotic has a matter with Carnegie.
So
Their
our,
legal representative cost determined and basically started this whole pump and dump, which ultimately led to the insolvency.
so again, there is a direct and without any, we have been working on the claims also on the board and the situation because everybody's asking, what is so relevant that in 24 this was the situation? Yeah, people have to understand that the history, the trading history of the company and investing in shares in a company requires a deep analysis that usually looks at least 3 years of trading and trading patterns to get a very clear understanding whether the company is safe to invest to. And when you have such a behavior in Shape Robotics, we already proven that nobody's willing to come into the play, and that's also part of the negligence of the board. That I think it's a topic where this DFSA gives us a lot of munition, let's say.
Probably FSA now will ask Carnegie how many internal notes exist. If this guy is sending internal notes for every company in Denmark.
So there's going to be a tough tough review also on Carnegie, in your opinion, no?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
And what about our board of director, the claim against the board? Is it this proof that it was negligence right now, or is it a significant proof now that Finanstilsynet has done this?
It is a step, it is an evidence, but that is documenting something that was already clear. I mean,
yes, it is clear for us, but you know how people are, Alex.
it was clear from the beginning. Okay, in January, people were surprised by your attitude. You're writing email, LinkedIn, and interviews, I think, every day. People are curious. Why is this happening? I've never seen such an individual so focused. And now people, after 2 or 3 months, people are starting to realize that you're right. You have first the Court of Appeal decision.
Correct, yeah. The High Court, actually.
The
Yeah.
High Court. Now you have the second confirmation.
Yes.
A small confirmation, but very relevant for the entire picture. So you now have
It's a
the
validation.
second validation.
So right now, what we need is just to be patient because it seems that our actions at least have consequences, in the sense that we should trust that the Danish governmental and public system seems to be working quite fast. No, I would say, compared to what we used.
This is very fast. This is surprisingly fast. I don't know. Maybe for Denmark, maybe this is usual speed. But for many other countries, and not only Romania, this is very fast.
I guess also the public pressure kind of helped, because this is a very well-known case by everybody in Denmark, I would say. Maybe it's
and
also
probably Danish authority and the correct people, most of them are not happy with this image.
correct, because it's basically something that
This is not helping the
them.
market.
Yes, the overall market. There are
The
so not so
overall
many.
market, and this should be solved fast. If you need the investor to regain trust or not to lose trust, such cases coming, especially when they are coming from the managing director, should be solved fast.
So what we can say that starting from next week, when we will have a working board, your top priority as the expert on the matter in the board would be to start contacting Carnegie, to start contacting all the parties to see how they position themselves. Because I think for everybody it should be quite important to understand that Carnegie has been just purchased a couple of months ago by DNB, and the leadership of Carnegie Denmark, for instance, has been completely replaced, in the sense there is a new CEO right now. So I would guess that dialogue with them should be into place, no? Or we should think about it, no?
Yes, I think so. And I expect that Carnegie will be open and willing to discover the truth and to show everybody that they are not covering such conduct.
Yeah, because one might say that if your top analyst in this situation is so negligent and throws left and right investment recommendations on companies that he also owns shares in interest, then it means that maybe your whole system is at least not as secured and tight as you would expect.
Yeah, if the Carnegie doesn't move fast with credible measures, it is likely that at the end of the process they will lose more than everybody else.
So for all that are watching, and now we're going to jump to questions. I think that you kind of understand how problematic this decision is for those that wanted to bury the truth. It's maybe we have never wanted just to make sure that everybody understands. We never follow in this situation a huge fine or stuff like that, and I don't think that this is the case, or people should expect that. We received a valid confirmation from a governmental institution that is not appealable, is definitive a definitive judgment on a case that basically confirms that there is a market abuse issue in place. And this is something that happened at the highest level and the highest echelon of private investment banking. That's the big issue here. So it cannot be considered mild. This is huge. And by comparison, there was never such a case before in Denmark. Never. Vlad Ambrozie has connected. This is your brother. Say hello to your brother.
Hi, Vlad.
So I'm taking questions together with Alex. Will not stay for so long because I think the explanations were quite comprehensive and it requires some time for people to get a grasp of the whole matter. So please should give us some questions. Elena says he was the best analyst. I know, probably he still is till the new price comes, no? I don't know. He's a good analyst because you can say that he was very good when he said that the price will double, the price doubled. So from that perspective, I guess he's the best analyst ever. Let's get some questions in. Everybody is quite confused. I will get some questions from Nordnet in the meantime while we receive them also here. Let's see.
You also said about Carnegie being bought by a Norwegian company.
DMB.
It's important to have in mind here that Denmark and Norway have a task force, the Securities Commission from Denmark and the Norway Securities Commission have a joint task force to discover such cases. I mean, unlike other countries who don't speak too much between their regulators, here you have a task force that is working. They already had good results, I think last year or 2 years ago. And probably this is a case that will be of interest also for Norway, now that a Norway company bought Carnegie.
Actually, the largest bank in the investment bank so it's a huge transaction, and I think that they don't want to be part of such let's say story. I get some questions. This being said, can still small investor make money from stocks? Yeah, that's a very good question, I would say, knowing that this is the case, that everything is manipulated. I don't think everything. What do you think, Alex?
Sorry, what was the question?
But the question was, in knowing this situation, small retail investors can still make money out of stocks.
The good news is, this happens rarely in Denmark or in northern countries. Being smaller markets, it is difficult to hide such transactions.
So you think that there is a chance?
Yeah, probably in Denmark and Norway and other similar countries, the retail investors are better protected than in other very large markets where it is more difficult to spot these market manipulations.
But do you think the retail investors have a case against Carnegie also, the investors? Because who has the most to lose out of this? No, it was the investors, I would say, no?
Yes, you are true. You are correct, yes.
So investors also have a case in this situation because it's. I think that we need to separate the matters a little bit. Now we have proof that there was an abuse of the market abuse regulation. No, so there was for sure a situation in which the price was pumped. This is proven without any discussion. But
For sure, some investors lost money.
So
a lot of money.
We have two set of claims here. There is a claim
Yes.
that comes from the company about the losing of face and losing the trust, and the other claim is a very direct claim that the investors have to look at.
Losing the face, insolvency, triggers the insolvency, then loss of contracts in Poland and Romania. A lot of consequences. But yeah, the investors who lost money during pump and dump, yeah, for sure they will have a direct claim.
So you would suggest that the investors seek to clarify this solution also for themselves, because with this we cannot help them.
So just to clarify, I'm not an expert in Danish legislation.
But there is a loss for them directly, which is not ours.
There is a loss derived directly from the pump and dump.
Okay. Questions, let's see. Can make or lose. Yeah. Let's see. Questions regarding the fact if we found an accountant. That's not really that important right now. It is a novelty that relates to market manipulation to see such situation unveiling in the Danish stock exchange market. Is this do you believe this is isolated, or this is part of a system that does things? It's hard to say.
Hard to say, yes.
Hard to say. And it's not, let's not speculate. We have been also very good at not speculating things and coming with proof, and I would keep that scenario as it is. As you can see, we have look, Vlad, I think Vlad, your brother is also a lawyer, no? So as
yes, he is a lawyer, but M&A.
He says that you should check if class actions are allowed there and go for it with all of them in the bulk. Yeah, there is a recommendation. I would say that the large investors or investors that control a larger stake maybe discuss the possibility to recuperate right now, as they have the clear DFSA ruling. They should investigate whether they can recuperate the loss incurred in that period of time when the pump and dump was active. So I would say between 52 and 24 crowns.
Yeah, not all investors. The investor who bought
and lost, yes.
Yes.
I would say that
those who bought and remain shareholders, because it's difficult that the price will double in the following months or 1 year.
Yeah, so in conclusion, we are not offering legal advice necessarily in this situation, but theoretically, with this decision, a lawyer or a specialist from Denmark in this market could look into recuperating loss directly incurred by the shareholders based on the decision that you just received from the FSA. So I think that's more than enough to start civil claims. It's civil claim, no?
Civil, yes, civil.
Good. I think this kind of covers it up. We don't want to, as you all have seen, we're doing this live. We're doing it as it happens. I appreciate Alex for taking your time.
Thank you.
And I appreciate to your daughter that she took an Uber and you didn't drive her to study, because both of our daughters are quite engaged in studying right now. They have exams. Yeah, thank you again, and let's keep in touch with everybody. We'll let you know how things develop in the next days. I don't see any other questions right now, and I will summarize this also on the clip that I do in the evening. So again, thank you for your time, Alex, and good evening.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye.